They told you to smile more, open up, be nice. That's why they don't take you seriously. That's why they talk over you, forget your name, and never see you as a threat. The truth is brutal. Warmth is a weakness in the eyes of the world. People don't respect the one who bends. They respect the one who doesn't flinch. You're here because you're done being predictable, done being soft. You're not looking for approval. You're looking for control. Becoming cold isn't about being heartless. It's about silence over noise, calm over chaos, power without permission. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't seek validation. It simply exists. Quiet, solid, untouchable. If you're ready to erase the version of yourself that gets ignored, disrespected, or used, keep watching. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to become the kind of man no one dares to underestimate. Cold, confident, untouchable. A smile is currency. Spend it freely, and it loses all value. Most people smile out of habit, to be liked, to seem harmless. But when you give something constantly, without intent, people stop noticing it. Worse, they see it as weakness. A man who smiles for no reason is trying to fill silence with approval. He's broadcasting insecurity. The world reads it, even if you think they don't. You don't need to frown. You need neutrality. Blank. Still. Unreadable. A face that doesn't give anything away is more powerful than one that begs to be accepted. When you hold your expression, people start projecting onto it. They wonder what you're thinking. They become uneasy. They respect what they can't read. The less you give, the more they want to understand you, and that's when you control the room. Smiling should be deliberate, tactical. A smirk, a raised brow, a calculated reaction. These are tools, not default settings. Use them like weapons, not wallpaper. Hold your face still, and the world leans in. And when they lean in, don't meet them with warmth. Meet them with silence. Physical contact isn't always connection. Often, it's compliance. A hug signals comfort, vulnerability, a shared emotional field. But not everyone deserves access to your softness. When you lead with warmth, people assume you'll fold just as easily. A firm handshake sets the boundary. It's measured, brief, controlled. It signals presence without surrendering emotional space. When you replace hugs with a handshake, you shift the dynamic. You're no longer offering comfort, you're offering acknowledgement. And that's all most people should get. This isn't about being cold for the sake of it. It's about protecting your psychological perimeter. Your body language should match your mind. Composed, deliberate, untouchable. The man who doesn't give away his personal space earns more of it. Every interaction becomes a choice, not a reaction. People start noticing your distance. They start respecting it. You're not here to be their emotional crutch. You're here to stand on your own terms. A handshake says, I'm here, I'm solid, and I don't need you closer than that. If they can't get in, they start wondering what you're guarding. Make them wonder more by walking alone. The man who walks alone isn't lost. He's just not looking for company. In a world obsessed with belonging, solitude is power. Most people move in packs, seeking validation, hiding weakness, echoing each other's noise. But when you walk alone, every step is yours. Every direction is chosen. You don't wait. You don't follow. You lead, even in silence. Walking alone isn't just physical. It's mental, emotional. It's refusing to depend on a crowd to define your worth. When you show up alone, you're sending a message. I don't need anyone to feel complete. And that shakes people. It challenges their sense of safety because most can't stand their own silence. You become noticeable, not because you're loud, but because you're not trying. People instinctively watch the one who doesn't cling, the one who can disappear and still be remembered. You don't blend in. You stand out without effort, without explanation. And the less you explain, the more they speculate. Keep them guessing. But whatever you do, never lower your head. The moment your head drops, your power drops with it. Whether it's shame, submission, or habit, it doesn't matter. The world registers it as weakness. Eye contact broken too soon. Chin tilted down, shoulders pulled in. These are signs of a man who's used to apologizing for existing. But respect isn't given to those who shrink. It's given to those who hold their ground. A straight spine, steady gaze, and level head tell the world one thing. I don't fear you. I don't worship you. I don't need your permission to stand tall. You don't have to be the loudest in the room to dominate it. You just have to own your space. Never flinch, never bow. When you walk through a door, do it like you belong there. When someone tests you, meet their eyes without blinking. It unsettles them. It exposes their own uncertainty. That's dominance without force, power without noise. People start reacting differently. They hesitate. They calculate, because you've made it clear you don't kneel. Not for praise, not for pressure. But if you want to truly own the room, start by saying less, speak less, listen more. Words are weapons, but the more you swing them, the duller they become. Most people talk to fill the void, to prove something, to chase approval. But silence isn't emptiness, it's control. The man who speaks less isn't unsure. He's calculating, observing, choosing when to strike. When you speak only when necessary, every word carries weight. People lean in, they listen, not because you're loud, but because you're rare. You're not feeding the noise, you're studying it, and that unsettles them. Because in a world addicted to expression, restraint is dominance. Listening is your advantage. While others reveal their thoughts, fears, and weaknesses, you're gathering information. You're storing leverage. You're learning who's worth your attention and who just craves it. You don't need to be heard all the time. You need to be remembered when you do speak. The less they know what's on your mind, the more power you hold over theirs. That's the paradox of silence. It echoes longer. But to keep that power intact, you must protect its core. And that means trusting no one. Trust is currency in a world full of counterfeit intentions. The moment you give it blindly, you hand someone a weapon they didn't earn. People lie, they manipulate, they shift with the wind, and the ones who smile the most are often the ones with the sharpest knives. This isn't paranoia, it's survival. Trust is not a gift, it's a slow, earned privilege. Until someone proves otherwise, assume they have an angle, even friends, even lovers. Especially those who claim loyalty too loudly. Silence exposes people. Distance reveals their true colors. Watch how they act when they think you're not looking. Guard your plans, guard your fears, guard your intentions. The less people know, the less they can twist. You don't owe transparency. You owe yourself protection. Trust can be used to build, but also to bind, to trap, to break. Even your reflection can lie. Even your mind can betray you if you're not sharp. And sharp men don't just watch, they control. But to control, you must first master yourself. That starts by never letting your emotions take the wheel. The next step is learning how to react without reacting. The loudest man in the room is never the strongest. Rage is easy. Anyone can explode. But the man who stays calm when provoked, he terrifies people. Because they don't know what he's thinking. They don't know what's coming next. And that unknown is far more powerful than any outburst. Anger exposes your weakness. It tells others exactly where to push, what gets under your skin, what breaks your control. Once they see the button, they'll press it again and again until you crack. But when you show nothing, you give them nothing. No leverage, no access. Real control is not about suppressing emotion. It's about owning it, feeling it rise, and choosing not to flinch. You don't yell, you don't defend, you don't explain. You observe, you calculate. You respond only when it serves you. People fear what they can't provoke. They respect what they can't shake. That calm silence in the face of chaos. It's not weakness, it's warfare. But control isn't just emotional, it's visual. And the next weapon you learn doesn't need words, it only needs a stare. Words can lie, eyes don't. But most men look away too quickly, afraid of what a silent gaze might reveal. That's exactly why it works. A controlled, unbroken stare isn't about intimidation. It's about dominance without a sound. It forces the other person to feel seen, fully, deeply, and without escape. The stare isn't aggressive. It's calm, still, emotionless. You're not reacting. You're reading, watching their micro movements, their hesitation, their discomfort, and they feel it. They start to talk more, fidget more, reveal more. The silence becomes pressure. The eye contact becomes a mirror, and most people can't handle what they see in themselves. You don't need threats. You don't need noise. Just eye contact held a second too long. It shifts power instantly. The one who looks away first loses. The one who holds the stare owns the moment. Use it in negotiation. Use it in confrontation. Use it when someone tries to test you. The less you blink, the more control you gain. And once your presence starts bending the room, you don't stop there. You become dangerous when no one can predict you. Predictability is comfort, and comfort breeds control, but not in your favor. The more people can guess your next move, the less they respect you. You become routine, readable, easy to manipulate. But when your actions break patterns, when your energy shifts without warning, people pay attention. They hesitate. They adapt to you, not the other way around. Being unpredictable doesn't mean being chaotic. It means being strategic. It means breaking the rhythm they try to place you in. Today you're silent. Tomorrow you're sharp. One moment you engage, the next you disappear. You're not playing games. You're reminding them you don't follow rules you didn't write. Unpredictability keeps you above the noise. It disrupts expectations. People stop testing you because they don't know how you'll respond. You're not just hard to read. You're impossible to predict. That's power. The strongest position is the one no one sees coming. But there's one final shift you must make to become truly untouchable. You must erase the need to be liked. The craving to be liked is the leash around your throat. It makes you bend, hesitate, overthink. It forces you to trade authenticity for approval. And the moment you do, you're no longer leading, you're performing. People can feel when you're seeking validation. It leaks through your tone, your posture, your choices. They sense it and they use it. They test how far you'll go to stay accepted. They push your boundaries because they know you won't push back. You're afraid of being disliked. That fear makes you weak. But when you let go of that need, everything changes. You speak sharper, move freer. You stop explaining, defending, justifying. You start doing exactly what you believe without permission. Some will hate it. Let them. Their approval is not the currency you're after. Power doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being respected or feared. You don't exist to make others comfortable. You exist to take up space, unshaken, unapologetic. And when they realize you no longer care what they think, that's when you become something else entirely: cold, confident, untouchable. They won't tell you this, but most people respect you more when they can't reach you. When your silence feels heavier than their words. When your absence speaks louder than their presence. You don't need to prove you've changed. You just need to stop explaining who you are. Let them feel the difference. Let them adjust to the new weight you carry. And if they say you've become cold, take it as confirmation. You were too warm for too long. Remember this: you don't rise by being liked. You rise by being untouchable. That's the difference between being seen and being remembered. Now walk out and don't look back.